Welcome to Risky Ryan Trades. Well, folks, today was a rough one, especially for my portfolio, and probably yours if you own any of the mega cap, big tech names. As you can see, it was an awful day for my portfolio. Costco getting hit, Meta getting hit, Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, CrowdStrike, NVDA. Those are all major holdings in my portfolio. So my portfolio doing awful. The value investors and basically if you owned any of the other names in the market were doing good today. There's obviously been a major rotation that occurred. Even Eli Lilly kind of holding up, but kind of not. We're going to take a look. Well, first, let's just look at year to date. So these names have been the strongest in the market this year. So still year to date, they're crushing. But with the interest rate news, well, I don't know how much it was news, but inflation came out. It was cool. Powell seemed, like he's going to cut in September. That's kind of what the market is now pricing in. And I guess I did not see the major companies suffering because of that. However, if we go into the ETFs, you can see that certain underperformers like the value and mid caps, small caps, today got a whole bunch of love, especially mid cap and small cap. So yeah, XLK, technology, down a whole bunch. SMH, semiconductors, down a whole bunch. All of large tech growth getting clipped today, so that, and there was a rotation into the mid cap growth and small cap growth names. So I trimmed a little bit of my positions and followed the crowd. We'll see how that turns out. But this seems to be the play. People are front running the interest rate cuts. And these names, these indexes in the mid caps, small caps are finally going to maybe see some gains. So let's take a closer look and see the damage on the Magnificent Seven, because today was very, very rough for the Qs, and even the SPY got a little, had some trouble because those big names are such a large weighting in the S&P 500. So first name I want to look at is Meta, because Meta, if you watched my video yesterday, Meta was looking fine, like blue skies above. And today, here, let's, 1 second. And today, it took a beating. It blew through this GAN level right here at 522, and now it's sitting right at the arc and below, unfortunately, below this high that was drawn out here. Whoa! All right, an ad hijacked my show there for a second. Anyways, right, so yeah, just let's get in real close here. So you could see we had a God candle, some consolidation. I thought we were just consolidating gains up for the next leg higher, and then the big rotation out blew us right through this GAN level, and now we're sitting right back at the top of the arc. But we are holding right here. Now, this is a very ugly candle, and you're going to see more of these as we go through the Mag 7. It's got larger volume, but that's the end of the market. See if anything starts to change. No. So yeah, ugly stuff. Let's keep moving. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla sitting right at about 240. The 245 GAN level failed to hold, and I would not be surprised if we saw a continuation down to fill this gap right here, and maybe we sit at 225. Would not be surprised at all to see that. Yeah, big bearish engulfing candle, big volume. I do not think that this is over. But hey, I've been wrong like all week, so. But yeah, I mean that's what this is telling me. We closed under this level. We still haven't even touched the Tenkan-sen on the Ichimoku cloud. So, you know, this is sitting at about 230, and the top of the arc is at 227. So that might be a spot where it finds support. But yeah, the momentum's been sucked out of the room for a lot of these names. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA was holding on for dear life, and yeah, so here we are. We're sitting on Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen, and this fib level, but we firmly right in the center of the arc again, and now we're in this fib channel. So you could see some chop for a little while. I don't know when this thing is going to get rolling again. You know, we'll have to wait and see. Just the top of this arc is at about 130, and that's really the key level. 129, 130. That's like the key level that you want to see it above. If you know, that's when we got up here, it looked like we broke out of that range, and then, you know, the overall market sent this thing right back down. Let's take a look at Microsoft. Microsoft closing under Tenkan-sen. Not good. Not good at all. You know, but look at this. You know, we had this happen before, and what happened after that? Just another shoot up. So I'm holding. I reduced my position in Amazon just because it hit like right where I bought it. So I just, you know, sold half my shares to reduce my exposure just to see what happens. Let's take a look at that. And, you know, naturally it held right. Yeah, I sold it down here at 193. You know, like it was down here. It was looking really ugly, and then it, you know, it found support, and it looks like this candle right here is sort of like important. So, but yeah, we got rejected out of the arc. Would love to see it. You know, it's really game on isn't until we get over 200, 202, something like that. We got to get back into this, or into the arc in the first place. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple, rough day as well, but we're still in the arc. Very interesting. Very interesting. That doesn't mean we can't slide down the arc all the way down to 220, but Apple looks to be safer than some of the other ones I'm looking at least for now. Let's see here. What else do we got? Let's take a look at Costco. Costco had a god-awful day. Look at this. Sold all the way through the day. Yikes. We're right back down into this area that we were at the end of June. We closed under Kijun-sen as well. Very ugly, but we are at this fib channel. It looks like this fib channel could hold. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on this to make sure that this holds. But yeah, this candle wiped out a month of trading. And what's so sad is that it was up to 925 in after hours yesterday. News of them increasing membership fees, and then it was sitting at a fib level that I had drawn, and then today, puke. So this area right here, hopefully it holds. Hopefully we stay in this channel and keep moving forward, but I would not be surprised if we see some trouble, you know, as it tries to hold this level. Let's take a look at the SPY real quick. Oh, Google. Here. Google under Tenkan-sen. Closing under Tenkan-sen. We're in this fib channel again. And this fib channel has held us since the beginning of June. And it's really served as support all the way back to March. we had a little freak out here. So really sad to see all those gains go, but we've had a crazy run. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not like it didn't deserve to be trimmed by a lot of people. Let's take a look at Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly is just like, can't break into this arc, but can't break down either. Eli Lilly is incredibly strong right now. I think this stock might be the most loved stock of Wall Street. I really do feel that way because it just refuses to go down. It just absolutely crushes. And when the whole market goes down, it doesn't seem to affect it. So is it a growth stock? Is it a value stock? What the hell is it? All I know, it held up today. Good for Eli Lilly. Hopefully it breaks into this arc. That would be incredible to see if it was able to do that. Netflix. Yikes. I basically got stopped out of Netflix. It hit right where I bought it. I bought it at the top of this, you know, in the breakout here. That's when I got in. I hopped out because we got earnings coming up, and it's just like, yikes, you know. Would love to see it get back into this fib channel if it's able to confirm into there. You know, I might wait till earnings to see and maybe try to catch a, you know, if it shoots up. But if earnings don't satisfy, I mean, we could be back down to the 612 level. There's really not a whole lot of GAN levels. You know, this is a fib channel, so Netflix freaked me out today. Okay, let's take a look at the SPY. Bearish engulfing. Yikes. Not good. Not good. 555 held up, though. So yesterday's gains erased, obviously. The Qs got hit way worse. Closing above Tenkinson, we got rejected out of the arc. So we're going to probably see some volatility going forward, I would imagine. Unless we can just punch right back up into it tomorrow and reverse some of this, but I wouldn't be surprised if we come back down to this 475 GAN level. Yikes. Yeah, it could happen. I could see it. You have support here, though. You have support with the Kijinsen, and you have this GAN level right at 475. So look for a reversal to occur there. I mean, there's obviously some consolidation that occurred right here, so we might be re-entering that zone before pushing forward again. Semiconductors also got hit really bad. It's basically deja vu all over again. You know, look right here. We did make a higher high, though. That's what's crazy. So I don't know if we're going to come all the way down here again. You know, this Kijinsen might hold up again. However, what scares me is we already touched it once. Hopefully, we just had to touch this before we go again. But if we come back down to touch this and we get underneath these levels, 240, let's just mark that off. $240. $250 right in here. Oh, 255, 256, about 255.50 is what I'm seeing here. So these are the two levels of support underneath all of this, but this is where we could go. I want to take a look at CrowdStrike. So we're not, this thing doesn't want to fill this gap. However, it might. I mean, we're in this fib channel right here. We weren't able to, you know, it got rejected out today. Let's just take a look at a 4-hour real quick. So the cloud is holding support, but I would not be surprised if we come over here. You know, it might be a little sideways action for a minute here. Rough day. Let's take a look at SOFI. SOFI in the cloud. We popped out off this level here. Let's go to the daily. So yeah, we had a gap up and a spinning top. This is a reversal, but it could also indicate, you know, but we're here. This is a major level, 668. Major level right there. We might come down to retest 668 before continuing higher. If you see it break down under it, 659, something like that, we could be coming right back down to this GAN angle. PayPal. Oh. Holding up. Not the prettiest candlestick. However, we did close in these levels that had prior price rejection. Did it close above 60? 59.99 it closed at, just below 60. And that is where the arc sits and the GAN angle. So hopefully for all you PayPal holders, I mean, it survived today. I mean, I gotta imagine that this angle, if it can survive today, this angle has to be solid. I mean, it, you know, it might want to touch it one more time, but we got up and over and we gapped up. So that GAN angle sits at 59.27. It's tight action. It is tight action. What else we got? VGT, technology, XLKs is kind of the same thing. Bearish engulfing. Holding the 592 level for now. We might see it touch this and reverse up. We'd want to see that. I'm just going to draw some major levels here because they might come in handy later. $580 is another major level here. And 590. Actually, more like 592.50. So those are all some major angles. If you see this break down below 592, look out below. What else? Let's take a look at Uber, the stock I sold yesterday, and then it fucking God-candled. Oh my god. Alright, so we closed over here. So perhaps this fib angle is gonna hold up. That's a big deal. May have to re-enter. I'm going to keep Uber on my watch list. Shopify is another one that I exited today. You know, it's in the cloud, closed under Tenkinson. I kind of bought it down here. I made a little bit of a trade. It's sort of in a range, so, and it's breaking down. It's in the cloud. Wasn't feeling great about it. Let's take a look at Visa. Visa's holding this angle. However, it was part of the sell-off today. I mean, it wasn't like as bad, but we can take a look at this heat map here, and you can see, you know, basically if it was a big name, it got sold today. I guess not all the biggest names, you know, you got United Health, AbbVie, so some of the secondary names. Target did well today. Yeah, and if you look at the full, it's just not fair. Regional banks doing excellent today. Might look at an ETF for regional banks. You might see them start to rip. They are ripping 2 to 5% for a lot of them. Let's take a look at some of these. I bought into some of these names here. No, that's not one of them. Which ones did I do? I did... Where is the... Sorry, this must be brutal to watch. Here we go. IWP, or, sorry, IJK was a name that I bought today. IWS is another one. So these mid-cap value and growth stocks, I rotated some of my money into there because, hey, that's what everybody else did. How long can this go? Nobody knows. Nobody knows, but S&P looking rough. We might be coming down to touch 250 before we can start to advance. You know, another major thing, let's just take a look at the RSIs, and like on the Qs, so RSIs got back down, and take a look at this. We touched the 10-day EMA. So we got back down here. I don't know. What scares me is we got up to this fib level, very close to it anyways, and I'd hate to see us come all the way back down before we can get back up again. I really doubt that's going to happen because we already had the retest. So keep an eye on the markets. Don't FOMO into stuff just because, I mean, unless there's a bullish engulfing over the top of this tomorrow, I would not be trying to chase the bounce just yet. I want to see some consolidation and a range form before I start rotating back into my big names. Let's take a look at the weekly too. So the weekly is still a little cooked. You can see here it got cooked. It came down, came back up, but not really much higher, and then we had our flush. Even if we're able to go a little bit higher from here, the RSIs will just be too much. Now, we had this big run in April where we were overbought and we still got up really high. But if you were to sell into this candle, you would have saw those prices again. That's what's crazy. So when did we first got overbought between these two candles, which was on the Qs 459 to 476. I want to look at the SPY because that's a little bit more interesting to me. Goodness gracious, let me just remove all the... There we go. Okay. You can see volume slowing down. Let me go to the RSI real quick. So we had our right here. RSI has got a little out of hand. 543, 530. I'd be shocked if we really got down there again. And if we did, I gotta imagine that this would be a level of support. 532. Really 540 to me is is going to be support. Somehow, yeah, the weekly is still forming. If you go to the daily, RSIs are back down to normal for now, but I'm looking for more downside, to be honest. If we have some kind of miraculous recovery, it would be very welcomed, but we're seeing a rotation out of megatech or mega caps, the Magnificent Seven, into the redheaded stepchildren of the stock market. So that's what happened today. Thank you for watching. Your likes and comments are appreciated. Wish me luck in my portfolio, because I got hammered like 2.5% today. One of the worst days all year for my portfolio. But these days I like these days because it really makes me look at the names that I own and go, can I really stomach these dropping? Do I really have conviction in these names? And I realized that names like Costco, I still have conviction in Costco. I do. Names like CrowdStrike, still have conviction in CrowdStrike, because you can't, before I go, I just want you to see this on bar chart. Some of these, you're going to have these big drops. Here at the CrowdStrike. So like a name like CrowdStrike, it's a high beta name. You're going to have these big drawdowns, but once things turn around, you're just so outperforming the market, it's unreal. I mean, even if you bought at the absolute peak of 2021, the worst time ever, today you would still be higher than if you had just invested in the S&P 500. CrowdStrike is first in class cybersecurity, so I'm just a big believer in it. Other names too, worth mentioning, Costco is another great one. So, as you go back, it's just always outperforms. I mean, it has its moments, but in the long run, over years and years and years, you're going to spank the S&P 500 with some of these names. Meta's another big one. I mean, right here, it's Meta. So let's look at a 5-year. So yeah, you had this big dip, but if you just waited it out for a year, you came roaring back and you're far better off. And even if you bought at this peak, yeah, you had to wait a year or two, and you had to watch it go down and down and down, which has got to be, this had to be brutal if you're a Meta holder. But in the long run, it works itself out. Another great example is Microsoft. So just as you go back, I mean, if you do the 20-year, it's a joke. 10 years, great. 5 years, great. 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 9 months, 6 months. 3 months, we're in line. But the further out you go, the bigger the gap gets. And it's just one of those stocks that, like, it's a must-own stock. Apple's the same way. 10-year, 5-year, 3-year, 2-year, 1 year. 1 year's it's catching up, but it will catch up. And it's already doing its thing. Eli Lilly is another name. That's why I talk about it. 10-year, 5-year, 3-year, 1 year, 9 months, 6 months, 5 days. I mean, these stocks, you almost kind of can't go wrong investing in them. And that's why I don't mind placing a little bit more weighting in those names. And if you're not a stock picker, there's a really good, and it's on sale right now because of the little downturn we had. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the 3-year, SCHG is the SCHG. Joseph Carlson has a great video where he like outlines how they pick their stocks and how they manage it. All I know is that it beats the S&P 500 and it follows it. The beta is about the same. I mean, you know, stock market goes down, it goes down. Stock market goes up, it goes up. But when it goes up much better. When it comes down much worse, but not much worse. And it just slightly outperforms it. So, you know, this, if you don't want the roller coaster ride of individual names and you want to outperform the market, SCHG is a great, you know, a great example. Obviously the Qs typically outperform. You know, when the market's going down, they don't. But you never know where the bottom is when you're in it. And once it starts to move up, like we're in a bull cycle right now, even though today was kind of rough, it just does better. So if you have a retirement account like me and you're not going to be touching that money for 30 years or something like that, it just makes more sense to put them in these kind of investments that just have a history of outperforming. So anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, hit the like. You're probably seeing a subscribe button. Why don't you go ahead and hit that if you watched a few of my videos and you get value out of it. Be sure to read the disclaimer below. This is not financial advice, yada, yada, yada. And thank you so much for being a viewer, and I'll catch you on the next video. Good luck out there.